February 18th, 2024. And we'll call the meeting to order. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I don't believe so. No.
Hearing none, can we get a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
So we have a motion to approve the agenda. So we'll start with the update from the attorney around the decision at this point in time.
So if you want to do that, so I've been emailing with Elijah Emerson, who replaced Paul Giuliani, the Piper Nagelson, and he said until HA 50 is signed by the governor, we would have to rescind the budget under Act 1, which is Act 1 of 2023, which you could do, but if you use Act 1, you have to rescind the entire school meeting. And we have to delegate elections, everything. And we don't get reimbursed either. Right. So then I asked,
Oh, not under Act 1.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So then I asked him if there was a way for the school board to do it, to rescind it under Act HA 50, sort of conditionally, that it's passing probably. Tomorrow it goes to the Senate, full Senate. And then sometime later this week, Kevin would know better than me how long it takes for the governor to sign it.
It will be walked from the Senate to its ceremonial office. And that's down the hall.
So if the Senate doesn't have a problem with it and approves it, it could be tomorrow, or
If they want to see the light of day, they will probably do what the House did.
and there were no changes in the Senate subcommittee. Discussed at length, but from what I've read, it was passed. I know it's going to the full Senate tomorrow. But that's where that is.
So if they pass it, one where we can take back off and say we're gonna take a month to reflect the change.
Yes. Current deadline in the bill is April 15th. You have to have the election by
April 15th.
which makes it very tight, believe it or not. The budget needs to be warned for 30 days, I believe. So it's going to give us time, but it's not going to be like get back and relax.
Everybody is back from vacation.
Right into the pool.
I have 3 meetings scheduled between when they get back and when the budget's due.
Has Jacob identified how much we need to reduce?
Well, we both have identified how much we need to reduce, but right now we're not exactly sure how much. So what we've done is sort of bracket, because the funny numbers, they haven't given us concrete numbers of what.
A month.
Right. Depends on how the bill finally passes. And even though everybody's, doing the shelving of, it should be here. The most current numbers are the ones that came out of house on Thursday of last week. Those are the numbers that were used as the House. The Senate did not amend the numbers, so at least know what those are. We're just waiting for passage. There's going to be another final set of views that come when they usually come, which is towards the end of the session. And that's just the way that the way the unique funding system is set up.
What we've done, Doug, to kind of let you know that we're, on top of this, is I've given the principals, or I will give the principals after this week, what it will take to get, 10% of their budget, which is about a $3 million reduction on their spending, 12%, which is 3.5 million, 13.5, which is 4 million, 15%, which is 4.5. So it depends on what those yields are and what the cents discount is. There's still a couple moving pieces, but I mean, we're ready to pounce on the number once we know what it is. To get, and that's all based on getting to your directive of 18.5% increase. So we're gonna do the best we can to get to. But I don't know exactly what it's gonna take, it's 3 to 4.5 million.
And the thing is that we'll have a much clearer picture, I would say by Wednesday. Just, the speed that could happen. The governor could feasibly sign it by Wednesday. Which means, we could call, for a meeting Thursday. And just the only thing we would do is come here and say, we're rescinding the budget. And that would be the function of that meeting. And then we're on the clock. And then we have, the reimbursement.
What are the numbers of those? She's
She's
already-
right on top of it.
Yeah,
And the thing is, she was, she served on our top.
I did ask Elijah how it would work if you wanted to do, pass something, that if you got it right, you wouldn't have to meet again. If you predicted what HB allow for, then you wouldn't need to meet again. If you got something wrong, then you have to meet again and rescind the budget. So,
Sounds like
you
you're,
said you could rescind contingent upon passage of 860, but that risk that it might change in a way that would render the initial decision to rescind ineffective. Then you would have to schedule a special meeting after the effective date. So, in a way, there's almost nothing ventured, nothing gained. You could do it, and maybe it would be fine.
We could, and we could do a passage conditionally upon H50 passing with no substantive changes to what was passed by the House, which would save us the trouble of meeting at the end of the week.
That was the question.
Yeah, and I think that could be drafted, basically that those exact words would allow us to sort of say, unless something drastically strange happens with the state, we are intending, as soon as everybody gets back from vacation, to dive right into it.
And that was the question.
Yeah.
That both Tom and I asked.
Okay, we're both stereo asking.
Well, it's the obvious question.
Right.
Yeah.
Some boards have gone ahead and rescinded the budget.
Yeah, but
But not being of the gambling,
sure.
But being that our council, with the right language, is suggesting that move.
Pull it off if we were taking into account the idea of real changes happening, which we would have to respond to. So,
You're saying what you and Ben were saying, that we could make this motion tonight,
Yes, so we would make a
but
basic,
with no numbers, but contingent on
yes,
what happens with the, I mean, with the government.
right, so we would,
Right, that's what
yeah,
you're saying.
so
All right, just
we
wanna
would
make sure.
move basically to draft the existing budget,
Right,
to move the, voting day to April 15th. The 15th, or?
15th is the month.
What was the language we used?
He said you don't have to stipulate the date.
Okay.
No,
All right.
Because that was one of my concerns.
Yeah,
It's,
I want to make sure we,
that's domino effect.
right.
So I would suggest we draft the motion based on what you guys said.
He didn't give us precise language, but that's his answer when I asked him about.
right. So we can rescind the budget contingent upon passage of 850 without any significant changes to the version of the bill that was passed by the Vermont House.
Exactly. We have a second.
So I was just drafting.
The thing is, after talking to those council,
Okay.
but we didn't just get from our own council.
Right.
Council to make sure.
If there's interest in that, I will make that formally as a motion. Please consider it something.
Is there interest with a straw poll?
No, I just, are we ready? You want to discuss more, is really what I'm asking.
Well, there's always discussion after the motion.
I'm fine with that motion,
Okay, so, and motion
Try not
is,
to rush.
to make that motion.
yes.
Doug? No, you have a second, I'm just sending you. Oh,
It's a
Potentially saves you having to meet. I
Right.
Yeah.
don't see where anything's lost.
Right,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If,
because
you
we're gonna
know, say it
receive.
changes, then you'll have to meet.
Right.
But if it doesn't, you're good.
And the thing is, every other board that did what we're doing will have to meet as well. So,
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
we'll all be in the same boat.
And since I have a good chance of being down in Boston, at the end of this week,
Hmm.
I would prefer not to have
Yeah,
to
right.
wait by calling in if I didn't have to.
Well, and I would
Yeah.
like for Sarah to be at
Yes.
that
Yeah.
meeting.
Right, yes.
And I did send her a note, and she sent me a picture back.
Oh, yeah. I said, yeah, come on,
Did you see
Sarah.
that? Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
I mean, that
Good for her.
sunrise was like, I mean, I know, sorry to digress, but
That's-
that picture was like portrait, like
Yeah.
something that
It
you'd
was a
see
nice
a
picture.
Van Gogh thing, you know, it was like, whoa, man. But anyway.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna make a motion?
So I would like to move that we rescind the budget that we adopted contingent upon 850 passing and being signed into effect by the governor with no significant changes to the language that was passed by the House.
Yeah, you can say.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, questions, about this?
I think we should understand when we would be coming back. So the next school board meeting is
28.
There's two different.
That's after budget discussion,
Yeah.
candidate.
Right.
So that's next Wednesday, not this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that
Isn't there
we're,
some conflict
Well,
Wednesday night with all of that?
let's get
Yeah, I'm
through
not,
this part and
yeah,
then
no,
talk
no,
about.
I just want to
Okay.
make sure
Conflicts.
that when we're thinking about it, we're thinking
Right.
about how we
Right.
Right.
proceed next,
Right.
before we say yes, because if we don't have a proceed next, we're gonna be,
Yeah, well, we'll do the proceed next
okay,
in that discussion.
okay,
That
all right.
we needed to get this piece. So, we're all set?
We need to vote.
Yes. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? And, one absent.
Right.
So the next piece of discussion, would be around, any kind of date conflicts. And let's discuss what that calendar looks like, because judging from all those blues and reds and green things on Nancy's.
Well, it's all to do with us.
Yeah,
But,
that's
I mean,
what I mean.
the conflicts here, because a time, or maybe the last time that we met with the research team, we were gonna have another meeting
Right.
on that Sunday night, I mean, on that same night at
Right.
5:30. Are we,
So let's,
yeah, Okay.
that's on the
Yeah.
yeah, I got
discussion
you.
list.
All right.
As
And
far,
then one starts at 6 and one starts at 7 for the other two, for the candidates night, and then the candidate nights and budget.
yeah, so provided that one way or the other, it sounds like you're rescinding the budget.
Right.
Right,
So budget discussion won't happen
well,
Right,
on the 26th.
yeah,
right,
So it'll
Gotcha, I'm
just
not
be
thinking.
candidates night,
I'm tired.
and the town will actually do their budget.
Right,
And they'll
right.
do candidates night too.
right,
right.
right.
And that will be it for that night on
Yeah.
the 26th.
so there are two things that we put on the budget.
We're gonna address that.
Okay. I assumed as much, but I wanted to make sure we didn't accidentally leave something
No,
there that
no,
we weren't
no.
gonna be able
Yeah.
to address.
That's what, another piece of the list of details that brought us here.
Yeah. I think as far as, I mean, the part that you left lingering there was, you said when you were gonna come back to the budget. So provided HH 50 passes, then I'm gonna work the dates backwards from 4/15.
Right.
And I have to figure out with Elijah exactly when
Mhm.
Mhm.
you'll need to
What's our
do
deadline?
a budget discussion night and, what would be this Saturday's meeting. We still have to go to that.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, Saturday the 2nd,
Mhm.
next Saturday, we have to go to and receive the reports and
Right.
do your,
And we still have to do the standard items.
yeah,
Right.
receiving the
Versus-
reports and the stipends for
Right.
board members.
The only thing we've rescinded is the budget.
Right.
You didn't
and-
rescind town
Right.
meeting.
Exactly.
So,
So anyway.
just because it's complicated enough that I am not entirely 100% sure,
Mhm.
on the 26th, next Monday, we have the school and budget and candidates night.
Correct.
I assume it would be appropriate for us to show up at that meeting and explain why there is no budget.
We can very quickly say.
Yeah.
On today, the 19th, the school board, based on H 850, rescinded its budget to move to April 15th to allow us enough time, basically.
But are we going to be present to say that, or are we just going to have that in the agenda for that evening?
Well, first, because I had talked to Kevin on Sunday. We make the decision tonight, we should be publicized tomorrow.
Right, I think so.
Yeah.
And whether we show up,
Right.
that's the different thing.
Right.
But it's, we
Because I
made a
have,
decision, move it on.
and I'll tell Adam Ricker from the town school
Right.
meeting committee, he's
And
waiting to.
Yeah,
You
he's
need
our,
to let
he's
Lisa know
our
too.
link.
Right,
Because she has certain dates that she has to get things posted for
Right.
us.
right.
Right.
To
Because on
match
top of
up.
that,
Right,
match
you
up
have
to
a
the 15th.
candidate that's running.
right.
Yes.
Right.
It would be appropriate, at least somebody from here
Yeah, to be there.
is there,
It's a
in one
courtesy,
sense, agree there.
as a courtesy, yes.
I know that there's some people in town who think you should discuss it a little, and I think that's a mistake to discuss the budget at all.
Well, we
We don't
can't,
have one.
we
Right.
can't,
Yeah.
we don't
Because I
have.
just
a
don't think, it'll be completely speculative and
Well,
probably
we can
cause
certainly,
more.
we can certainly have a conversation about why we are in the position
Right.
of having to bring forward a new budget.
Right,
Right,
We can't talk about what that new budget will be because we won't have
Have
one.
one.
But we certainly
We
can
don't have a
explain yet again, and this is sufficiently strange and
Right.
screwy that it's worth multiple explanations.
Right.
Um,
So I think what I'd like to suggest is once we've determined those other points of concern, that we give some thought to a series of transaction ads, maybe, like Thursday, Friday, and then on Monday, that just reiterate, the school budget based on H, 850 / the act number it will be.
Yeah.
Is rescinded.
Yep.
And, just a brief, piece, and we could, Tom, you and I can figure that piece out, before. And then what we'll do is make sure it hits the paper like 3 times in a row, so hopefully we're getting, some saturation on that piece.
You could have, Chuck.
Right.
Read the same message.
Right.
Monday night, so we don't have a big, like, I wanna ask questions,
Right.
a statement.
And it's
We are
clear.
gonna have the same, warning that you have, if
Right.
it was tonight, you're gonna do the same thing,
Mhm.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it's clear.
because you have to have 30 or 40 days before the budget vote, which is the 15th of April now. You'll have to have that budget posted, the amount.
Well, since you have, 2 or 3 different versions, I assume, once H 850 is passed, one of them, out of
Right.
the 3, which.
We'll
it's not
know.
like
No.
we have to go back with a magnet.
No, we don't, but, that's the preliminary work that, Tom and the AC have
Right.
prepared.
right.
Which are gonna make our job a little easier than the normal budget cycle, where we get a
It'll
lot
probably
more.
be your very first meeting in March, which I think is like 12th or something.
Yeah.
That meeting, the 13th, that'll be drop dead.
Right.
For the budget number. So by then, we'll have to know what is the budget and have the warning again, instead of 52 million, it's gonna be.
Right.
But what we're gonna hear from you is the fact that we've reduced the budget by 2 million, 4 million, whatever the number is.
Right.
And you're going to be able to tell us, since it's 6 million, that means
Yeah.
Right.
gone.
Yes.
Well, the details,
And,
we'll have.
yes.
Yeah.
Technically, what can happen is, because it's such a short timeline, by the 13th of March or some date, few days before that. Because if we go with the 13th, that doesn't leave
Any wiggle
Lisa
room.
very much room to get the ballots done and get everything done. So it'd be nice if we could come up with a number a little before that.
So, just, let's go down the date thing just to make sure. So 26 is the budget night, candidates night. We have a statement which will be read. And we probably want at least one of us there to explain a little further the context if that has to happen and to listen to the candidate. 28th is our normal school board meeting, which I assume we will be doing our normal school board stuff. You can, without being ready to prepare final budget proposal to us, you can give us some idea of where things stand
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah.
So we will know, gee, it's horrible,
Mhm.
which is basically what it's gonna be. Then the following Saturday, which is second, we have the rough portion of the town meeting. Okay, so that is through the rest of that period.
Yeah.
And then we don't have a meeting scheduled until the 13th.
Right.
Do we want to have an intermediate meeting or not? For some time in the week of the 4th?
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have.
Well, some component of the board.
Yeah.
Either we have a board meeting or we have a finance committee meeting, you know.
To be scheduled
Right.
with that, okay.
Right.
So we have some degree of information which we can share.
Right.
Okay. And then we meet on the 13th, and that would be our drop dead, get everything
Right.
done and out the door.
And that's where we sit down and say, based on the information, based on, you know, the work that's been done by the superintendent and the AC and our chief financial officer, this is the report. And these are the 2 or 3 versions that we have. And the effect on the
Okay.
tax rates and, you know, all of that information that's there. And to Doug's point, if we're looking at, you know, numbers of individual people, all of that data would be there as well.
Right.
Is that clear?
That's nice.
So
It's clear,
No, I
Mike,
get
it's just
it.
with a lot
No, I
of
got it.
dates.
Yeah.
The next meeting to decide, it shouldn't just be the finance committee.
Oh, no, the
No,
finance
no, no,
committee
no.
is not gonna decide anything.
No.
We're
No.
just gonna,
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know that,
Okay, sorry.
but right now, there's enough stuff,
Yes.
and therefore, I don't want to poke the skunk
Right.
anymore, which means if we're going to have a meeting and discuss something, the full board should do it, which says we're in it together, not, oh, it was Kevin, or it was Peter. I don't want that, I really don't want that. It's gotta stop,
Right.
and the only ones that can make it stop are us.
So at the end of the day, there's gonna be a meeting. Okay, because there needs to be a meeting. Okay, if everybody agrees that we will meet together as a whole, the board of the whole, then we will meet as the board of the whole. And it sounds like that's the direction that I'm sensing, you know, we need to move, and let's do it.
Yeah, on the 28th, we'll have a lot more information than we do
Right.
tonight.
Right.
So I'll be able to tell you more specifically what the reduction is. And, you know, where we stand with the state funding, and probably we would schedule a meeting on the 6th. We'll know a little bit more information.
Because I
I
can
think
tell
there's
you,
so much concern, we might as well have more meetings
Right.
than.
Yeah.
not
Than
enough
less.
meeting.
and one of the interesting things is with that data that we got to you and Jake from the Ways and Means Committee, which are the numbers that actually went into age 50, we haven't even been able, you had a chance to program those yet.
Right.
You know, so that's real-time data. That's almost like that first blush look at those newest numbers, so to speak. And you really haven't had a chance to even, you know,
Right.
plug them in.
The last numbers that Jake gave me were, we are looking at a $3.5 to $5 million cut from what you proposed.
Which remember.
But that's a
and
big,
Yeah, we were talking initially at it being 5, you know, up.
Yeah.
So to be in that lower range based on real numbers or realer numbers than we had before is helpful, and it will help our discussions as a board around next steps. You know, if everybody's, you know, in agreement, so we've got the 26th, which is the candidates' night, and we don't have to make the presentation. Then we have the 28th, which is our regular scheduled board meeting. And that'll be our first opportunity to look at 850 in its entirety and get the first draft of the work that Tom and the AC and Jacob will have put together. Then that Saturday, we will participate in the town meeting portion of our work that we have to, because that part's not rescinded. And then we need to choose a date between the 2nd and the 13th to have, our next meeting. And if we go with the Wednesday, which one?
Six.
It's the 6th,
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
right. It's sequential, and it still gives, our administrative team and Tom and Jacob a chance to do the magic with the numbers.
Right.
I mean, I've already scheduled and confirmed 3 meetings with the administrative team before the 13th, because we have a lot of work to do and they're busy running the schools. So
Right.
we've got 3, 4-hour plus meetings. The first one, which is the 28th, which is next Wednesday.
I want to reiterate, but take this hat off and put another hat on for a moment, just from the Board of Civil Authority. It's really important that we get this information to Lisa ASAP, because she can't just pull
Well, this,
some of the stuff
No,
out
no,
she
no,
has
no.
out of her hat. And you know
Once
that,
we-
and I know
once-
that. I just want
once
to
we-
reiterate.
once we agree, we can have a motion that this is our calendar of events. And once that occurs, then it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
We can bring that to her.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to do that at the meeting
Right.
on, next Wednesday.
But we can give her a preliminary, because you know how Ms. O'Neill likes to stay ahead of the,
Yes, she
the
does.
game.
And she does it very well,
She and I
too.
are like that way.
And she's on it. So, in all due respect, to our town clerk, since we have it, we share it, with her.
Would be good.
And
Thank
that
you.
would just be good. Sherry?
I have one other item in your calendar, should be Tuesday, March 5th. That would be the town meeting voting and board elections. Right, I mean, you have a candidate that will be
Right.
elected that day.
Yeah, and my understanding on the 5th is the 2 candidates will go forward, with Nancy and the new candidate. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the charter changes won't be affected by this. So they'll all go forward on the ballot.
Thanks, Sherry.
The budget and the bond won't come.
Right.
It'll be however Lisa wants to do it, I'm not gonna say.
Right. We'll let her fill in the blanks,
Yeah,
because that's.
she has some options
Right.
there, so.
Because that's what the town clerks are doing around.
And at the same time, what are we doing to try to fill Sarah's position?
There's a
Garrett
candidate.
We have a
is-
candidate.
We have a
There's a
candidate.
candidate.
running,
Yes, there's a
yes.
new candidate running.
So then we're full on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so,
He's a gentleman who works at the Upper Valley Aquatic Center, and he's,
he has 2 kids in our school system.
so, a real strong candidate. I'll just put it down.
Can I ask?
Excuse me, at this point, there are 2 candidates running that will be speaking on the 26th.
For different seats, though, not for the same seat.
Yeah, he's running for the 2-year, I'm running for the 3-year.
Doug, your question?
Yeah, can we just step back for a minute, so I know that what I'm thinking is or isn't? When we build the budget, you go to your principals and say, here's your budget from last year. Give me a new one for the coming year. Is that right?
Basically, yeah.
And then, so it comes to you, you and Jacob merge it all together, and from there, it goes to the finance committee, correct?
Yeah.
Or it could go straight to the
Or
board.
it could- sometimes it just comes right to the board.
Yeah.
And it's all timing, but just like you said about the other process, sometimes it's expeditious for all of us to sit and talk about those changes, you know?
Considering
No.
what has been going on, should we not plan that that's the way we function?
Well, we just said that.
And-
No, it's already part of we put it on the calendar,
Right.
you know, as
No,
full
well, I'm
board.
not, yeah, but this year, but I'm talking next year and the year after, but at least for in the near future. It's put out there so that everybody shares the wealth, good or bad.
Right.
And, you know, it's a normal reaction, you know, to what we've experienced. So there's no real problem in doing that, you know, whatsoever.
No,
You know, but the thing is, we have to be careful about making decisions for future boards. And, you know, depending on the makeup of the new board, we might be convinced to do something
something
different, you know?
absolutely.
So that being said, let's think about now, today, let's do what we.
Well, it's just that, I'm sorry, and I'll be blunt, there's a cloud circling over Peter and you. Because you, for some reason, go in the back closet and zip, 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 and hand on the budget. That's the perception.
Well, you know,
And-
people.
and
need to get
it's-
through- Well, no, okay, wait, no, I almost
And it should
lost
just be
it,
easy
but
to
I'm not.
stop it.
If that's the perception, we'll let it go. Because there is no ego involved in this. Okay, it's always been a process thing. So that being said, I have no problem, and I don't think Peter does,
Well,
with, you know.
so, this is the first time I've been on the finance committee. So in the past, I have not been in a position to do that, even if it was to happen. And my belief is that
Yeah,
the
right.
finance committee actually had lots to do during the school year in terms of monitoring things. Had very, very little to do that got between the board and the superintendent in terms of developing the budget. I can never remember the finance committee going and having, maybe you do, I don't, I can't.
No,
Yeah, I've
that's
never,
the thing.
it's always been
You know,
with the board
in
as a whole.
14 years, okay, so perception is what you said, it is perception. This is something we can dispel, and we can dispel it very simply
Yeah.
by saying, you know, that the budget components will be addressed by the entire board.
Right.
And then that's the end of it. Don't want to hear about it anymore.
Because there's
Because
never
if
been
if
a
I
case
do
where
it,
the finance committee,
Mine.
the finance committee was the first to review the reports from the auditors kind
Right.
of thing,
Right.
to have a conversation about the fact that the state has changed the ledger totally, that kind of stuff. It has never been develop the budget.
Right.
No, and never taken the budget,
Yeah.
never taken the budget to the finance committee before the board.
You know, we've done negotiations, talked about, healthcare.
That's always been the
Yeah, you-
negotiation group.
The one thing you talked about is how much, if there is any fund balance, the
Right.
finance committee might consider how much fund balance they recommend versus how much should be applied, but that's always brought to the whole board.
Right, back to the whole board, just like the other.
But that's
So-
it, never the whole budget, or
There-
never
Right.
even discuss like how much the budget should go up or down, or,
Right.
So,
you
so
know,
the
I've
whole-
always done that on my own and brought it to the board and said, this
So-
is where we're at, what do you
Yeah.
wanna do?
So in order to dispel the, that mirage, we'll offer clarity by saying that, the board makes the decisions around the budget. The finance committee, our role is more monitoring progress and procedure. And that's, the key. It's like the policy committee. If we sat there, once every 2 weeks and tried to develop policy, that's another thing that we're.
Oh, yeah, I agree. You know,
we're
Somebody
trying-
wants to take over.
Yeah, right. You notice how now. But your point is right on, so I think clarifying that, here at this meeting is critical.
Right.
So we have a couple of things that I'd like to make sure we address as a technicality. With these revisions to the budget and starting the process, because it's already been started, I would like to recommend two things occur. One, we halt the search for a new superintendent. And two, we remove the second salary from the budget. And those are two actions that the board could take now. And I think that it would be important for us as a board to do that. What I can,
Excuse me, can I just ask where you are, where I'm recording this, under preliminary discussion of the revised budget?
yes.
Okay, thanks. I want to make sure it's in the right spot.
You nailed it.
You nailed it.
As always, Sharon. But, as a brief, discussion and sharing, the contract, with our search firm will allow us to resume the search next year without any additional cost to the district or penalty of any kind. And I, at first, one of the consultants we spoke to, was like, wasn't sure. And after talking to their management office, the management office affirmed or confirmed that that was the case. So that's where we are.
so I could clarify the question.
Yeah.
So I understand about rescinding from, or holding off another year with the research fund. I got that, that was real clear. But then you said to take out the second year.
No, take out the second
Right.
salary from the budget.
Oh,
Remove it.
okay, that was my clarifying question. Okay,
As,
yeah. I got
because if we don't, it's still there. It's in the budget right now, and unless we request it be removed as the board, it still sits there until we do. So my recommendation to the board, as the superintendent and his team are working through it, we'll just move
Yeah,
that.
that's the one item I wouldn't touch, because that
Right.
you can't directed by the
Right.
board.
right.
And we have gotten a significant amount of feedback from both the Teachers Association and the administrators group that they are A, supportive of our superintendent, but B, don't want the search to happen this year.
So that being said, and recognized, those are two things we can do now to continue with the work that they and Tom and Jacob are doing on our behalf. So,
Okay, so then my question, may I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
no, sure.
I just need to get this all clear in my mind before I yea or nay. So we're not gonna do a search, we're gonna discontinue the search until the next year. So that means that, I'm just clarifying, Tom, okay? That Tom will finish out this year, and then he will finish out the last year of his contract. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I need to make sure that what I think I'm hearing is what you're saying.
Clear as
in
you
me.
can possibly be.
Right.
I just needed to make sure.
And I'm glad you asked the question, because that's a clarifying question.
So
If,
it's June of '25.
right, Tom's last year of his contract is 24, July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025. So,
And that's the current contract anyway, right? Yeah.
and that is important too, for anybody looking or watching, on TV tonight, even our news person, because they're probably watching, is that those are the dates.
So what about the letter that we have printed up already for the,
The request for the interview committee?
no, not that one. The one that, said that that we put in the town.
Report?
Thank you. Couldn't think of what it was
No,
called.
if you recall, what it said was there will be one superintendent,
Okay.
and there will be. That guy over there.
The old guy.
With his sporty shirt on,
Yeah, I noticed he was supposed to be.
Yeah. It's got a little extra spring in his step today. No, I'm sorry. That was a positive thing. Yes.
Did the union letter get put into the minutes like the one did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I put it in the folder.
Right.
It's in the folder with
So
all
it's
the
there with
stuff.
all the other.
Yeah.
So they can't say we're biased and.
There's also a link at the bottom of the minutes. I tried it on the teacher association minutes, and I tried it a few times, closing everything out, starting again. And there's a word link at the bottom of the minutes from last week for the administrator's letter.
And I ended up putting the whole letter in the minutes
Yeah.
from the 14. Because sometimes the links, they don't work.
Well, that's why I went in like 3 different times,
Yeah, test
3
it.
different places, and
I always
making sure.
double check the stuff to make sure it works as intended, but both letters are in the folders with all the other stuff from that meeting.
So is that a formal motion, which I can second, or do you want me to?
If you would
All
mind.
right. Somebody else want to take the honor? Right, so, hereby move that we suspend the search for the replacement superintendent to revise next year, and that we take the second superintendent level salary out of the next year's budget, since there will be no need for it. Does that get all the points?
Second.
Discussion, because I see discussion.
Oh, no,
No.
I'm just, I understand. I got all my questions answered.
Can we make a more clear statement?
No, that was very clear. No, I don't have any more questions.
I just want to make sure, my friend.
You don't believe me,
No,
do you?
no, I was checking.
No, I just, I still have a lot of concerns.
Well,
So, and I'll just leave it at that.
and the
Okay.
thing is, we all do, we can't,
You guys aren't getting the calls I'm getting.
oh, yeah,
That's why I left town.
well, the thing is, I couldn't leave town,
I know.
you
I didn't have a choice. My family kicked me out.
I understand.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that other, fun stuff, actually, I'll share it after.
Let's go with it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Or Doug, do you think that nails it? What I'd like to suggest, based on a conversation I had with our public relations liaison, Mr. Heaviside Senior, can we take a couple of these important pieces and get it to our PR lady like she did that
He's
piece,
online
okay?
tonight.
Okay, so that, she can help us with getting that out, so that the public can see that in a more formal type of thing instead of maybe just the transaction ad? Because that piece that she did, you know, that you showed us, you know, on Wednesday, nailed it. You know, so it'd be nice to do that with, you know, our follow-up, you know, letter that, you know, you and I will work on. And then the actual transaction ad, you know, around what's gonna happen with our, you know, with the budget, if that makes sense.
I don't think you voted on that motion.
No, yeah, we're still discussing,
Okay,
still discussing.
don't want it to get lost.
No, very good, that's
In the weeds.
I totally agree.
mission critical, you know? Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that, you know.
I wanted it out there yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, we're working on it there.
So, move the motion?
Yes. The question's been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I say something right before I say my,
Yes. Yes.
okay. So, for the audience, because I know that thing's gonna start blowing up again, I am going to vote yes for this motion because I think that our people need to have a better budget than what we've already presented to them. And that it would be better for our school district to be able to have that budget. So, and with those words being said, I will vote yes for that.
Yeah.
That motion. Is that okay to say that like that?
Of course.
Okay. And it's no offense to you, it's just,
Can I just clarify one?
Yes.
Because we've all
We're-
talked
we're
budget,
still-
budget, budget.
You know, we're still in discussion prior to the final vote. Yeah.
The bond is moving.
With it. With the
Whatever
budget.
Well,
budget
that's what we
is.
need to get to next.
Well, that's the next, you know, we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna do that one, you
I
know.
mean, that's when I bring out the swords if something says no.
Well, see, he had that, you know, the sheath. I was wondering what he bought with him, but anyways. So, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And one absent. The next piece of discussion, you know, is our work with the bond. Mr. Hepburn, as our representative of the bond committee.
Oh, I'm just, it's there and I don't want it forgotten. And we need to make sure it gets moved on and that somehow we get this publicized as to why this school district needs it. That the consequences of not moving the bond are financially and they're going to be painful. Because they're decisions that per se are out of our control. We have life safety issues, and in the first year, I believe it's $4.8 million. That we have no say in this, because it's either we do it, or they lock the door, and your child's not going to have a school to go to. And so I just, as we publicize what we're doing, I still want to see these open houses where we can sit down and ask them to come and engage in a discussion as to why. Because I don't think, I mean, all they're hearing is money, 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 and my taxes, and they're not thinking of the consequences of saying no.
I am also in support of having the bond go forward because the budget was crafted around a bond as a way to reduce the overall budget.
Right.
If we do not do the bond, then the cuts are going to be so bad that it's not even worth thinking about.
Right.
This is the only way we have of meeting our needs without having a budget that just blows everything out of the water.
And that was part of the crafting, as you said, you know, of the budget, and a lot of attention to detail, you know, went into that. I know from some of the public, you know, feedback, after questions that they raised at meeting, and then referring to the director of facilities for further clarification, it's become abundantly clear to those folks that had the questions that went through that process. Why? Now, how we get that point related to more of the community, hopefully will happen during those town hall sessions about the bond. You know, because that's where the rubber's gonna hit the road.
We can certainly speak to that this coming Monday.
Right.
Because that is an opportunity to get in front of the public and to talk about the bond. And we will have also the town meeting day.
Because we'll still be able to discuss them,
Yeah.
right?
Not
Or-
on the
oh,
26th,
that's right.
on the second
Oh.
you can.
Right.
Second, okay, because it's
The
not.
Yeah, when it's our own.
Okay, because the
Right.
morning got changed, okay, that's
Right.
right, I'm forgetting.
So the
that.
second we
As far
could,
as I understand, the 26th, we won't do anything
Right,
other than
exactly,
Nancy
exactly.
and Gary.
Gary.
so the first big additional opportunity other than our board meeting on the 28th, because we could,
On the 28th, do
right,
have Jonathan come and Sarah and
Right.
go through
And,
the bond again
and have,
make sure everybody knows.
you know, with clarity, you know, because we're gonna need to continually do that for folks to understand that importance piece.
I don't know if it's legal or not, you know, there's a town homepage, whatever, it's really not the town.
Yeah.
It's,
What's
The
happening in Hartford or
information
something?
page,
yeah,
yeah, the Hartford information.
can we not write something
Yeah.
and put it and publish it? Because all I've seen come out of there was negativity, over and over and over, that we are totally out of control.
Okay, so that being said, again, Mr. Public Relations Person, and being that our public relations person is listening, I think, you know, that's something we need to craft.
And we can put whatever we want, as long as we're not telling people how to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to give information and
Right.
keep
And,
it clean and clear, but not
And
say
that's-
you have to vote
Right.
or
and that's
vote
her,
yes.
that's her job, because, you know, that's what she does for a living. You know,
Yeah.
she helps towns
Hmm.
and schools do that,
Hmm.
so
Right.
let's let the pros do the thing.
So, I'd like to formally move that we move the bond vote to the same date, whatever it turns out to be, as the budget vote.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to move the bond vote to the same date as the budget vote, once determined. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And one absent. Cool.
I think we've probably discussed the other two.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
Yeah.
Are there any public comments?
Yeah, Mike, is there anyone in the public?
Nobody has their hand up.
All right, hearing nothing, and the fact that is there something you want to discuss?
Well, just one
Okay.
question. you know, we've talked about, you know, crafting a letter, you know, to the, another, you know, letter to the community. And in non-formal communication, because, you know, you don't do formal stuff unless it's here. Would you like me to work on that and share it with the board, not for so much voting, but, you know, just for affirmation, you know, kind of a straw poll, which is within, you know, our purview, and it doesn't, you know, violate any, you know, of the rules. You know, especially if we, you know, share it, you know, and do it the right way, not requesting a vote, you know, that kind of thing. And then we can determine, we could share it, you know, with our firm, our PR firm, and see how they'd like to, you know, how they embellish it, you know, like with the, you know, the letterhead or what have you. You know, be a statement from the board, you know, regarding, you know, the rest.
All right, so I must have been board gathering because I'm not quite sure which letter you're talking about.
No, this would
The
be a
information.
response. This would be a response to the last meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. I'm sorry, I just,
No,
I didn't,
No, I know.
I wasn't connecting.
No, there's just a lot going on.
I just didn't connect there, and I thought, I missed something there. My mind was somewhere else when you must have said that. Okay, thank you very much for telling me which way it was. So you should put it down.
All right. Do we need a straw poll on that, or are we just
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
agree that?
Just,
Okay, I'm in favor of it.
Me too.
All right.
so we'll work on that. Got a couple of drafts already, so I'll share them. We can continue the
All right.
process.
So with that, I would move that we adjourn.
Holy smokes. I second it.
And remember, a motion to adjourn is a non-debatable.
That's right. That's true. It's not.
The last time I checked.
Can you wait 1 minute so I'm exactly right in my estimate?
I'm
kidding.
Of course.
I'm kidding.
So we were
I've
that
never
close.
been right. I estimate the times, I happen to be 6:40.
Hey, that,
Can't beat
made it.
that.
Yeah,
We made it.
Hey, all right, according
Nice
to the
job.
clock.
Yeah.
We vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Well, that's it.
I don't